Bremerton is not just one market. There are lots of pockets that live and feel completely different from each other. The mistake I see a lot of relocating buyers make is that they assume that a cheaper price for a house equals a better deal. That's why in this video, I am ranking Bremerton areas from worst to best. The pockets that look like a good deal on paper, but come with the most friction once you move in. The middle tier areas, which are actually solid, and where the best fit areas are that consistently win because they stack commute practicality with long-term livability, including options that work well if you need to access one of the ferry systems. Hi there, my name is Cassandra Lopez, and I help buyers and relocating families make smart moves across Bremerton and Kitsap County in general, with neighborhood by neighborhood clarity, especially for military and out-of-town buyers who want the real day-to-day picture before they commit. Naval Base Kitsap and Puget Sound Naval Shipyard are major anchors here, so I'm always trying to look at this through the lens of what people and families actually need, centered around their job and their commute, not just what looks good online. So let's start with the one-star areas, the pockets where the fine print matters the most and where the wrong fit creates the biggest and fastest regrets. So our one-star areas are going to be our caution areas. So they're going to have like the most affordable and like desirable price tag. These are going to be your caution locations for commute friction and that sort of thing. And the first one on our area is Gorst. Gorst is a little neighborhood in Bremerton. It's at the south end of Bremerton, right where Highway 3 and Highway 16 meet. So it's right literally off a freeway interchange. And so there's lots of freeway noise, lots of traffic driving by at all hours. It's unincorporated Bremerton. Like it still has a Bremerton address. Some of it is in the city limits. Some of it isn't. Right around that area, the city limits get a little kind of weird, so it's hard to tell unless you're actually looking at the map. And this area is known to be a choke point for traffic, depending on which time of day, which direction it's choking. Washington State DOT has been actively studying this area for years, trying to figure out ways to improve it. It's surrounded by water on one side and a granite hill on the other, so there's really very little that can be done about it in terms of expanding the freeway or offering alternate routes. In Gorst, it's going to be less of a neighborhood lifestyle. So if you're looking for a neighborhood where you can like ride your bikes and walk your dogs around the sidewalk and stuff, it's going to be less of that and more of a grind with traffic bottlenecking and all of that stuff. The pros are if you need quick access to Port Orchard, which is South Kitsap, or Belfair, which is actually North Mason County, it's a really good location starting point to get to either one of those directions. Or need quick access to Highway 3 going northbound towards Bremerton proper, Silverdale, or Poulsbo, it's a good access point there too. And as I mentioned earlier, it's going to have a pretty affordable price tag. So if you're comparing apples to apples and, just by square footage, bed and bath count, your dollar's going to go a lot farther in Gorst. The cons are, as I've mentioned already, the bottlenecking, the traffic. I mean, it's at the state level for recognition for what they're trying to do to mitigate all the traffic. And if you're coming from North Kitsap, so say you're coming from Bangor Base or even Naval Base Kitsap Bremerton, traveling south towards Gorst in the afternoon, you're going to hit the shipyard traffic. It's very famous and aptly named. And at peak hours, you could be backed up for several miles. Another con is that if you ever go to sell your house in Gorst, you'll probably not see the return you would like because you got it at such a good value that you're going to have to sell it for the same value to the next buyer as well. Gorst might be a great place if you don't travel during peak hours and you can avoid all that bottlenecking traffic in the first place. And if you value access to the freeway more than like neighborhood vibe or don't mind getting stuck in traffic every now and then, it just gives you some extra time to listen to the radio or whatever, that might be a good spot for you as well. I'm rating this neighborhood 1 star because while it feels like a deal on paper, other costs show up in terms of time spent in traffic, gas spent in traffic, and traffic noise in general. And the fact that the Washington State DOT is actively running studies, actively trying to figure out a way to solve the traffic congestion bottleneck problem tells me that this is not a temporary issue and it's not going away anytime soon. Our next 1-star neighborhood is Charleston. Charleston is actually just north of Gorst, so you're still going to run into a lot of those traffic issues that I mentioned previously. You can still be really close to core employees like the shipyard, like Naval Base Kitsap, all of the old downtown areas on Callow. You'll have access to all of that pretty readily. The pros for buying in this area are, again, it's affordable, but also you have a little bit more practicality in your commute. You still have really good access to freeway and this sort of thing without being like right on the freeway. And if you buy in the right street, like, because this changes street by street, if you buy on the right street, you can get more of that neighborhood vibe that you're looking for. Some cons are Charleston is built kind of like at the bottom of the hill and then back up. So these properties that are at the hill, kind of at the top of the hill, they do overlook Highway 3 and Sinclair Inlet. So you are going to have a nice view in some of these places. However, lots of traffic noise because Highway 3 runs right by there. Another con might be that some of these homes are a little bit older. So you're going to have older home problems is what I like to call them. Just stuff that went in old homes, right? So maybe some knobadoo wiring, maybe some asbestos siding, that sort of thing. But nothing that can't be resolved. Buyers who are looking in Charleston are looking at location. They want a practical location. They're willing to shop street by street, not just like neighborhood by neighborhood. So sometimes people want to live in Manette and that's it, right? They just love Manette. They want to live there. People who are looking in other neighborhoods like Charleston and Gorse, they're like, yeah, this street will work, but the next street over, they're like, we'll pass. It's not a neighborhood condition. Buyers who are looking in Charleston are also comfortable with older homes and are willing to either take on a project or buy something that has an add value situation. So those are our two one-star areas for now, and the pockets that can look like a deal, but actually have a lot of day-to-day friction when you're living in that lifestyle. Now let's step up to the two-star locations where the value gets a little better, as long as you are clear about the trade-offs that you're accepting. Okay, my two-star areas. Downtown Bremerton core near the ferry. So I know I've talked about downtown Bremerton before as actually a preferred location, and maybe if you are a single remote worker or a commuter to Seattle, it definitely is. When we get several blocks away from the ferry, we can start to feel a shift in the neighborhood vibe. This is the most urban part of Bremerton, still walkable to coffee and little restaurants and the ferry. It is convenient, especially if you don't have a car, but be mindful because the neighborhood can change block by block depending on the, how the home has been kept up, how the neighborhood's been kept up, that sort of thing. And it is important to be aware that right now, winter 2026, Washington State ferry system does have construction going on at the Bremerton terminal, so that may affect your commute if you are living downtown and do need to access the state ferry. Pros for living in downtown Bremerton area are going to be your access to the ferry, because if you are living in Bremerton and working in Seattle, you're ideally benefiting from Seattle wages, but also benefiting from Bremerton cost of living, so it's like a win-win for you. That's amazing. So if you're living downtown, you don't have to worry about driving to many places. This might be a great area for you. And if you're looking for that truly walkable, like I just want to walk to coffee, I just want to walk to restaurant, I just want to walk to game room, I just want to walk to shopping, grocery shopping, I just want to walk to the park and a farmer's market, this is where you're going to find that. It's also a strong fit for buyers who want low yard maintenance, as these lots are very small city lots and have very little going on for them in terms of size. So if you hate yard work, this might be a good place for you as well. Some cons of living in downtown Bremerton are the parking situations. So if you do own a car, there's plenty of street parking. You get free unlimited street parking if you're a resident of the city of Bremerton. If you're not, you get 2-hour free street parking before they start chalking your tires and ticketing. If you need regular parking situations, there's paid lots, there's a couple of garages around. So, but urban life setting, you're going to have parking situations. Another thing we haven't really talked about yet is all these properties in downtown Bremerton or elsewhere that are on the waterfront, because there's plenty of those too. We have water everywhere. You're going to be likely in a floodplain, and it's likely that you will need to purchase flood insurance if you're financing your home. So that is definitely a consideration when it comes to cost and value trade-off, and something that needs to be thought of if you are coming from a place that does not have flood insurance as a common. So who is downtown Bremerton for? Downtown Bremerton is for those ferry commuters like we talked about. It's for those shipyard workers and naval base Kitsap active duty that we talked about. It's also a great opportunity to buy a place for yourself now and then turn it into a rental later, because it's a great rental market right in downtown Bremerton because of all those things I just talked about, because people are PCSing here and need a place to live, because people are coming TDY with the shipyard and they need a place to live. So if you have an investment savvy mindset, maybe you buy now and rent it later. Why I'm rating this neighborhood 2 stars is because it can be a great lifestyle if you pick the right block, but if you don't, now you're committed to maybe a part of the neighborhood that you don't prefer. And it's it's not really forgiving in terms of like a quiet suburban lifestyle, because oftentimes there's drills or there's functions going on at the shipyard where you maybe have a really loud evolution or you have something going on that's creating quite a bit of noise for the community. My second 2-star neighborhood is East Bremerton. East Bremerton is like a main commercial spine running north and west from West Bremerton all the way up to East Central Kitsap and Silverdale. If you are a fan of public transportation, there's a big transit center there, really easy access to get around. You're walkable to literally any kind of shopping. There's like Safeway, Fred Meyer, there's a Walmart there, all the convenience stores, all the coffee shops. There are also a ton of stoplights, so if you are driving, just be prepared. There's going to be stoplights like every 30 feet. So the pros to this section of town in East Bremerton all the way is convenience. So you are like conveniently located to anything. If you live here, maybe you drive for Instacart or DoorDash, this would be like an amazing opportunity because all the shops are right there and then everybody also lives right there. It's a really strong option for buyers who want convenience of the day-to-day life and amenities but don't want to pay a premium price tag for the most in neighborhoods. This also works well for a lot of shipyard and active duty who need to commute to Naval Base Kitsap Bremerton because it is right across the Warren Avenue Bridge. It does provide a little bit of distance from work, but you're also not too far from Silverdale, so if you need to commute to Naval Base Kitsap Bangor, you're about 20 minutes from Bangor from East Bremerton. Some of the cons of East Bremerton are you are living near a really busy corridor, Highway 303, also called Warren Avenue, also called Wheaton Way, also called Wagga Way, depending on which section you're in. It's really busy. There's just like a ton of shopping and a ton of stoplights and a ton of drive-thrus and all kinds of things. Housing inventory varies a lot. There are neighborhoods that have 1940 salt boxes right next to 2024 tract homes, and it can vary a lot, and all of that factors into the pricing and affordability as well. So who's buying in East Bremerton? People who want affordability and also the convenience and are okay with a more drive-centric lifestyle. People who are relocating, who just want practicality, who don't need a charming neighborhood, who don't need all the fluff and bells and whistles and just need a solid place to live. Why I'm rating this 2 stars is because while you can get an affordable home in East Bremerton, you are trading price for convenience. It is one of the most functional places to live, but you're trading away like charm and quiet for a convenient and accessible location. So the 2-star neighborhoods are where life kind of starts to make sense. You're willing to pay just a little bit more. You get a little bit more trade-off for your dollar, but only if you're honest about what you're trading and what you're getting. If you want neighborhoods that feel more purely residential with stronger long-term livability and fewer friction points, that's where the 3-star neighborhoods come in. So our 3-star neighborhoods are a solid middle tier. We're going to start with the neighborhood of Enitai. Enitai is a Bremerton address. It's right on the eastern shore, right between Minette and Illahee. You blink and you miss it, and it's going to feel a lot like Illahee, but it's just south of Illahee. It's going to feel more residential, more tucked in, and it's going to be a departure for those who want a quieter lifestyle and don't want to be right in the middle of the busyness of East Bremerton. Pros of living in Enitai are the park-like setting. You're going to be close to waterfront and shorelines. It's a good option if you want to be on the east side of town, but without paying a premium for these more in-demand micro markets. A con might be because it's unincorporated, there may be a question mark on which jurisdiction handles what in what municipality does who for what. Maybe not so much of a con, but it's just like more digging you have to do to find out who's in charge. So who's buying in Enitai? So this is going to be for people who want a more residential vibe, a really quiet feel, and do not need a downtown walking routine, but still want access to like all the convenience and amenities throughout that East Bremerton corridor without being like right on top of it. Why I'm rating Enitai 3 stars? Because it's strong, livable neighborhood for a lot of households, but the unincorporated nuances might create a little friction. We'll see. So there are a lot of 3-star neighborhoods throughout Bremerton. We don't have time to talk about them all in this video. So if you want to contact me directly, this is my cell phone and my email. You can reach out to me and we can discuss further some other neighborhoods that might work for you. But if you want the neighborhoods that most consistently win with long-term livability, calmer daily routine, and buyer demand when you go to sell, that is where the 4-star neighborhoods come in. First on my list for 4-star neighborhoods are Airlands Point and Chico. These are both on Dyes Inlet. They're adjacent to one another, so sometimes they get jumbled into the same category. They both have Bremerton addresses, although they are Bremerton proper adjacent. Airlands Point and Chico are on the eastern side of Dyes Inlet, and they have a very long line of low to no bank waterfront. Both are easily accessible via Highway 3. The pros for living in Chico or Airlands Point are you get a water adjacent lifestyle, which is amazing. This is part of what keeps buyer demand so high and turnover so low is people just move in and they love it and they never want to leave. Super easy access to either Bremerton proper to the south or Silverdale to the north. And it can feel like an upgrade from city living, but not far at all. Some cons for Irlands Point and Chico are definitely car dependent. You're not walking anywhere unless you're just going out for a walk. And also waterfront property comes at a premium, not only like in purchase price, but your property taxes are going to be higher for that waterfront lifestyle. People who are buying in Irlands Point and Chico are usually long-term hold buyers. They don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. They're buying just to enjoy the property. They don't mind paying a premium for that because they're not looking for an immediate return. It's also great for buyers who want that coastal lifestyle, but also want the convenience and easy access to shopping like Silverdale or downtown Bremerton can afford. Next 4-star area, it's going to be Illahee. Illahee has a Bremerton address. It is considered East Central Kitsap. It is just south and just east of Silverdale. Illahee has Illahee State Park, which is an amazing overnight RV park. It also has a really nice waterfront beach access area with a really beautiful pier. It also has Illahee Preserve, which is managed by the county. It's a county park, which has miles and miles of walking trails. I take my dogs there quite often. Illahee is pretty far off the main corridor. You're about 10 minutes to Silverdale. You're about 10 minutes to East Bremerton. So it's really peaceful, really quiet, lots of trees, but you're still kind of close to everything if you don't mind a short commute. Some of the pros of Illahee is you get that strong residential community feel while staying connected to the rest of Central Kitsap. Park access and your outdoor lifestyle is premium here because you are such a short walk from these state parks and county parks. And it's still a very practical place to live that's still very accessible to other parts of the county. Cons, again, because it's unincorporated, you're going to have different municipalities that have different jurisdictions. So you're just going to want to pay attention to that. Some houses in Illahee can be a little bit older also because there are so many trees, they get a lot of shade. And so you're going to want to make sure that the shade doesn't make your property too damp, doesn't make your roof too damp. So it just makes a little bit more maintenance. Illahee is for people who maybe want a longer term hold and people who want quick access to Silverdale without being on the busy corridor. Why I'm rating Illahee 4 stars is because it consistently hits the sweet spots for lots of relocating buyers. Residential feel, central access, fewer daily friction points. Our next 4-star neighborhood is Tracyton. As you may know, that's my neighborhood. I love Tracyton. Tracyton is part of Central Kitsap. It is right on Dyes Inlet on the eastern border. It's just south of Silverdale, just north of East Bremerton. And this is a common choice for buyers who love suburban lifestyles, but still want a wonderful access to Silverdale. And it's also got a very scenic drive down into Bremerton. Some pros for buying in Tracyton are, like I mentioned, that great suburban neighborhood vibe. So you're riding your bikes in the streets, you're walking your dogs, you're very close to the fairgrounds, you're very close to really good schools, and it's still really close to everything. So you're not giving up access to your job, your commute, your shopping, your medical care. Some cons are because it's so close to the water, you could get stuck behind a school bus or a garbage truck and just be there for a while because, you know, there's only a few ways to and from some places. So you may just be there for a while. And like many areas around the inlets, there are some neighborhoods that maybe you just want to pay special attention to. So who's buying in Tracyton? Tracyton is for buyers who want a calmer residential lifestyle and who are fine driving for errands and commute and that sort of thing. Tracyton homes also make great long-term holds if you plan on renting it out later because they are, you know, family-size homes. And so single people probably would not be buying here. This is going to be more for like a family size. And so it makes great rentals down the road for families coming into Naval Base Kitsap or the Puget Sound Shipyard who maybe don't want to buy right away and want to rent first. These make great rentals as well. Why I'm rating it 4 stars, because it's super relaxed feeling. Homes hold their values. Lots of great views in lots of places. Some phenomenal waterfront in some places. And nice, short, easy commute to places you need to go. It's just all in all, it's a win location. Our next 4-star neighborhood is going to be Newberry Hill. So Newberry Hill is also a Bremerton address, but it's right on the line of Bremerton and Silverdale. Newberry Hill has a good mix of homes, but a lot of them are late 70s and newer. You'll notice that the farther away you get from the shipyard, the newer the houses get because the oldest homes were built around the shipyard. So Newberry Hill was developed obviously in the 70s and 80s, and there is some new construction going on there right now. But for the most part, we're going to have kind of 70s, 80s, 90s aged homes up there. The location is amazing. It's off of Highway 3, just a quick few minutes to Silverdale, but also like not far from Bremerton, not far from Seabeck. So if you wanted to go out to like Scenic Beach or Hood Canal, you have easy access there. Some of the pros of Newberry Hill are the homes are huge. These are really large homes, 2,000 square feet plus, really large lots, like, you know, a third of an acre or more. Some of these homes have amazing eastern facing views of Dyes Inlet, and some can even see Mount Rainier. Some cons of living up on Newberry Hill is if you are too close to the freeway, you can hear Highway 3 noise. Also, the price point's a little bit higher up here, so it's maybe not going to be a first home. Maybe it's going to be a second move-up home. So who's buying in Newberry Hill? We actually see, as I mentioned, second or third home buyers are buying in here, but there are a lot of homeowners in the Newberry Hill neighborhoods who have owned their homes since they were built, and they are retirees now looking to downsize and buy something smaller, maybe more affordable, maybe pay cash for it, maybe like move out of the state entirely. So there's actually a good mix of demographics of people who currently live up there and also people who are buying there. Why I'm rating Newberry Hill 4 stars. Location is key. It's beautiful. You get your sunrises and your eastern facing views, and you get a large home on the large lot, and there's room enough for everybody. But if you want the top tier, the areas that tend to generate the biggest buyer demand and feel the most consistently desirable when it's time for you to sell, that's where the 5-star neighborhoods come in. So our first 5-star neighborhood is Minette. Everybody loves Minette. Minette sits just across the water, the Port Washington Narrows, from downtown Bremerton, accessible via the Minette Bridge. It's its own little southern-facing peninsula, and it's built up on a hill, so some properties you can get a 270 view, the Olympic Mountains, Sinclair Inlet with the shipyard and the Turner Joy, and also southeastern-facing to see Mount Rainier. Minette is its own town, but it's got a Bremerton address, so it's not its own township. But it does have a little downtown area that's really lovely, and the locals love to frequent all of the artisan shops down there. This is one of the areas that's consistently got the best neighborhood charm, the best neighborhood vibe, the community feel. It's got a really great community center, and it's still walkable to downtown, so it's like close enough to be close, but far enough to be far. Some of the pros of living in Minette are it's got a strong identity and lifestyle, which tends to protect demand over time. It's close to downtown and ferry, so if you need to walk or bike there, you're still accessible without being in the middle of the really busy urban vibe. And it's got one of the lowest turnovers and one of the highest demands, so people buy in Minette and just never want to leave. So when homes do pop up, the buyer demand really tends to inflate the price. So if you are thinking of selling down the road, you would benefit from that as well. Some of the cons, inventory is kind of low there. I mean, with, 100 homes on the market in Bremerton, maybe you have 2 in Minette. So, low inventory in Minette overall. And the homes tend to be older, so maybe 1940s, 50s, 60s, somewhere in there is the most common age. So you're going to see homes that need a little bit more maintenance and maybe a little bit more updating. So who's buying in Minette? People are buying in Minette when they are committed to a long-term hold. That tends to be the trend. And homebuyers who really want a really great neighborhood charm. Why I'm rating Minette 5 stars is because it is one of the most consistently desirable lifestyles in Bremerton, and it holds its demand because it feels like home, not just a pin on the map. If you are moving to Bremerton or anywhere in Kitsap County and you want help narrowing down the exact pockets that would fit your lifestyle, your commute, your daily living, before you commit, you can book a quick call with the link in the description, and I will help you filter out all of the noise so you can end up picking a great spot and not just one where you love the house but don't love the location. My name is Cassandra Lopez. I help home buyers all across Bremerton and the greater Kitsap County area make confident decisions with neighborhood level guidance, especially for military and out-of-town buyers who want the real routine and the real trade-offs before buying.